all you Gretas and Chuches cats out there. Welcome to Unit 2, Section 5, Evolution and Adaptation. A lot of this should be review from freshman year biology, but we're going to go through it again. So this is starts on page 10 in your packet. So the theory of natural selection was developed by Charles Darwin and first presented in his book Origin of the Species, published in 1859. Quite the controversy at the time. So fitness is the differential ability to survive and reproduce. So the more fit you are, when talking evolutionary terms, the more babies you're making. The more times you pass your genes on, the more fit you are. And adaptation, not adaption, that is not a word. Adaptation is any behavioral or physical characteristic that increases fitness. So maybe you are smarter, maybe you are stronger, maybe you are faster, maybe you blend in really well with your surroundings. Maybe you have the power to turn invisible. Those would all be adaptations. That last one would be pretty cool. So, theory of natural selection. Moving on to the next page. There is, couple parts to theory of natural selection. And I'm just going to give you the numbers and then go ahead and think about what you need to do to answer the questions on the other side, and check in with me if you have any questions or comments about those. So theory of natural selection. Number one, we need a struggle for existence among organisms. We have winners, we have losers. There you go. You have some type of struggle. Number two, there is a physical and behavioral variation in living organisms, even within the same species. So within dogs, we've got different definite physical and behavioral variations. Even within humans, I think eye color, skin color, hair color, height, weight, all of these things, we definitely have variations which may affect how somebody else sees us. So number three, organisms with higher fitness or more helpful adaptations are more likely to survive, hence survival of the fittest. So check out this little baby bird. He blends in really nicely with the moss. So this guy is not going to get eaten. He is safe. This guy, great eyesight, really sharp teeth. So those are adaptations that are going to help him survive. So over time, natural selection will ensure that certain characteristics appear more and more often as they're passed through generations. An entire species can change over time in this way. This is not an overnight thing. We're talking thousands, millions, usually millions of years to go from one species to another. For example, let's move me over here. So if you go back 65 million years ago, you get this nifty tiger-looking thing. Well, over time, if you watched Ice Age 2, you know that the waters covered the land. So you can see that you're getting something that maybe could handle better swimming. And then the snout is getting longer. You're getting a longer tail to help you get through the water, maybe some webbed feet. Then we're definitely getting into something that looks similar to an alligator. But remember, we started with a tiger thing, so we're in the mammal family. But a longer snout to help you catch the fish in the water, definite webbed feet at this point, and a nice long tail to help you get through. Now here's the great part. This probably had some land and some water. This is just in the water. So you can see these back feet are going away. The front legs become more flipper-ish, and the tail becomes flatter and broader. And over 35 million years, you can go from something that looks like a tiger to the killer whale that we have today. So that's the how and the why. We have fossils for all of these, so we can kind of see how it happens, which is pretty cool. So that is natural selection and the steps therein. Let's move me back down here. So common descent or descent with modification. That means that every living species has descended with changes, there's your modification, from other species over time. So we did not come from monkeys, but we have a common ancestor with monkeys. And that common ancestor had different changes that resulted in monkeys and us. Hooray! There we go. So next it says, put these words in order to make 3 statements that summarize natural selection. So I'm going to pause for a second and let you read these and see how they're going to go together. Pause. Okay, did you pause? I hope you did. So, genes have to mutate first. And after the genes have mutated, then individuals are going to survive and reproduce. And if enough of them do, then populations evolve. Please understand, individuals do not evolve. Populations evolve. We are born with all the traits that we're going to have, that we can pass on to our offspring. Those will allow us to survive or not. Those of us who survive pass those traits on. So the human population can evolve. You yourself cannot evolve. I had a friend in college who was born without wisdom teeth, and he was convinced he had evolved past the rest of us. If we start seeking out our mates based on whether or not they have wisdom teeth, then maybe in the future we can evolve past wisdom teeth, but he has not evolved past us. Still human. So, why are humans so successful? Number one, we can walk upright. We can use our arms, we can see farther. So if you're walking on all fours, you can't use your arms for as many things, but we can walk and carry a whole bunch of stuff in our arms. Also, being upright allows us to see farther, so we can see prey, we can see predators, we can see danger, all that fun stuff. Number two, we have opposable thumbs for grasping. So you can grab things, which makes life so much easier. Try my freshmen, when I taught biology, we would tape their thumbs down and make them do various things. So if you have masking tape at home, go ahead and tape your thumbs down and try things like using scissors or buttoning a coat or zippering up something. Super fun. Tying your shoes without your thumbs. A lot of fun. Or if you don't want to do it, find a younger brother or sister and experiment. We also have super big brains for being awesome. That is the official scientific term. We have larger brains that allow for greater complex thinking than other animals. So, yay, humans. All right, so moving me back down. Why can't humans evolve to cope with our new environmental conditions? So, pause, think. What do you got? Did you pause? Did you think? I hope so. So, why not? One, the genes have to already be present in a population's gene pool through random mutation. So flying to school would be super nifty, but I don't have the genes for that. So I can't just sprout wings because I want them. I can only use the genes that are in me currently. Number two, our generation times are too long to keep up with rapidly changing conditions. We aren't fruit flies or bacteria. Evolution for us takes thousands of years. So genes for new traits have to already be present. Those people who are asymptomatic for COVID, which means they get positive results, but they don't have any symptoms, that would be a really nifty gene to have right now. So those people will have a slightly better chance of surviving and passing those asymptomatic genes on to their offspring. So if COVID continues to be an issue in the future generations will have a slightly less problem with it because the people who had weaker genes that allowed them to be killed quicker by COVID aren't surviving, whereas those people who have genes that allow them to either beat COVID or not get any symptoms are the ones that are surviving and passing those genes on. All right, so myths about evolution, next page, myths about evolution. These are untrue statements. So I'm going to challenge you to come up with true statements or true comments about each one of these things, and then check in with me and let me know what you think. So number one, fitness means stronger, faster, or biggest. Not necessarily. So give me a statement that would be a more accurate statement. Number two, organisms develop new traits in order to help them in their environment. I kind of already talked about this, but this is also not true. So go ahead and give me a true statement for that one. And number three, evolution is a constant progression towards some perfect ideal. So think about why that might not be a true statement as well. And show me a class. All right, next, geological processes do affect evolution, like a whole lot. So number one, location of continents are definitely going to influence climate and habitat, which always results in winners and losers. So you can see how they're moving over time. I think it's kind of cool that Texas and Africa used to be right next to each other. Movement of continents allows for one, dispersal, speciation, and extinction. As things have gone their own way, sometimes they were great when they were closer together or more tropical, and then as things moved away, things might have died, things might not be the same anymore, whatever. So things change become new species. Earthquakes can isolate populations, which also leads to speciation. So if you now have two populations that are separated and they have different conditions, they can eventually result in speciation. Volcanoes can destroy habitats and cause a lot of extinction. This happened in Hawaii 2 years ago when the volcanoes were pretty bad there. Asteroid impacts can cause widespread extinction and climate change. Ask the dinosaurs. And then climate change also affects evolution. So this is the last one. Ice ages / warming periods cause a lot of migration, cause extinction, and cause new niches to happen, which something will fill. Might not be something we want, but something will fill it. So if you look, here's 18,000 years ago. So you can see how much ice we had, both continental, which means on land, and sea, which means on the sea. And the green is the land above sea level versus now, in August, apparently, you can see there's much, much less continental ice. There's definitely less sea ice as well, and a lot more land is above sea level. So the sea critters are still there. They just have less land or water, and there's more land being exposed. So more things can be on the land. And yep, we are done. You have survived these notes as well. So before I go, I want to take this opportunity to tell each and every one of you that you are good enough, you are smart enough, and people like you. And in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good God, do your homework.